On the RoboShadow platform, we have various different integrations with other PSA platforms. So we're doing a series to interview other MSP leaders to understand what is it about their particular PSA platform of choice that they enjoy and how does it work with the integration with RoboShadow. I have here James Edwards from 3GI Technology, and full disclosure, myself and James have known each other for quite a while, but he is an absolute Jira Atlassian fanboy, and I thought who else would be better to kick off the series and talk about the Atlassian Jira platform. So, James, thank you for taking the time to do this. First, can you just give us a bit of a feeling and a flavour? What is it within your organisation you use Jira Atlassian for, whether it's service desk, project management, all of that good stuff? And then after, if that's okay, I'm going to ask you, how does that work with the integration within RoboShadow itself? So what is it? I know that you are a serious fan of the Atlassian platform. What is it that enables you to do? What is it you love about it?
I think the biggest thing is the flexibility and the development that you can do within the core suite of tools, and then the marketplace and what options that opens up and expands into. So we've ended up using Jira, Atlassian, and derivatives of that product and the marketplace editions for pretty much every work management item that we run. So that includes back office, our full service desk, project management, program management, presentation of information, the whole anything that is an operational automation workflow process that we need to manage is all built into Jira. Marketplace editions, I think we've got about 30 different items, including the whole 365 integration suite, which is massive because it means that ultimately your work management solution becomes your making that your primary and only platform that the team need to operate from massively transforms adoption and how frequently they're in the platform, using the platform. So you don't have to get out of something to get into another window. It's all at your fingertips, which is wonderful. So hence it's just sort of being built on across every sort of facet of the business at the moment. And we're now expanding that into with what Atlassian seems to do wonderfully, which is keep acquiring every tool that I seem to work out that I love, like Loom and obscurity, acquire it and integrate it fully into the platform. So the ability to create a Loom video within a Jira ticket now is outstandingly beneficial for everyone. And what obscurity allows us to do in terms of integrate with different platforms is gives us the capability to be the service integrator that we want to be, instead of forced down the road of utilizing like having a standard kit or software list for each of our clients. We can pretty much operate with any different environment that we need to. And
I'm trying to remain impartial in these sessions, but quite often a brand ends up buying lots of other brands, sort of makes a bit of a hash job of that sort of integration. They seem to do it quite well. How do you find that they're sort of doing the integration? It feels that they're doing it almost feeling natively, but how's that gone for you when they do sort of integrate other tech?
I think if that's the mark of a good integration, that it feels native and seamless. The whole thing, from the most powerful ones around the 365 integration, how a Teams chat is just integrated in the UI of the whole platform and throughout it is incredible. The Loom capability feels like it's a Jira upgrade that you've just got, but you'd be hard pushed to understand that that's a Loom function in the back end of what that is. So it's very, very seamless as a software platform, and I think their ambition, or Atlassian's ambition, to I think it's got a stat that it's now used in every single FTSE 500 company in some description, but the caliber of their integrations and product design and user adoption, I should imagine what's on the cutting room floor of their product meetings is vast, and they're very good at making sure that they nail the users' requirements when they deliver pieces of additional functionality via an integration.
So I think I did 7 tier 1 global investment banks, and they all had some kind of Atlassian Jira product offering, even if it was just the dev teams that I used to work with. So okay, and then so the standard service desk management process feels like that's fairly well nailed for you, and you also use it as a software delivery lifecycle project management tool, stuff like that. So just if you can just talk a bit more about that for me.
Yeah, the service desk piece is as advanced as we need it to be. You've got obviously the big things now around knowledge base access via AI and language models. So the capability to query massive knowledge base documentation that's in Confluence. That's all in the front end for every user to be able to access, which is magical. Enhancement in speed, raising tickets. There are AI plugins to write a summary, and it will create a perfectly created ticket with method and update all the different fields, custom fields that you might have. So that's a real upgrade for speed and efficiencies on the service side. Obviously, its roots are in software delivery and development and Kanban management. We use that in basically everywhere where there is professional services. So our dev teams will use it, our architects will use it for managing a project design and rollout phases. Our VCIO teams will use it to manage cross program across various different elements of the business and have the visibility over that in one place. So it's very flexible, even though that is technically the Jira software enterprise product, the thing that we use, that is used across all the different business lines, because the concept of running a sprint with a Kanban board is quite useful, whether you're delivering software or delivering any sort of project management requirement for a complicated multi-task, multi-month program.
And I suspect that once a project's complete, there's naturally going to be problems and issues that come out of that product on a user basis, so the two work hand in hand quite well from a ticketing system versus the project that was managed on that, or are they kept fairly separate still?
All, because you got to know how you're constructing your ecosystem, but no, all hand in hand if it's done correctly.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anything that Jira doesn't do for you that you wish it did more? As a slight curveball question.
There's one thing that's very, very hard for them to manage. They do have Teams integrations, and they do work. But there are, when when you think anything is possible, or you get to the point of lulled into by Atlassian, anything is possible. Yeah. I'd wish they'd work on a better Teams customer channel interface, just because
interesting.
It's just not.
Bit of feedback for Atlassian there as well then. Good. Okay. And then I'd be remiss not to ask, James, so what is it like managing an MSP in 2025?
Obviously, from the demand on rolling out real-time security management tools is big, and in some verticals, I don't think the economy is lending itself to investing in additional tech services on top of that, and it's not come left field. I think obviously lots of people are investing in Siemens SOC technologies late last year before, but it's probably only in 10%. Now, there were some interesting stats that I was at a conference yesterday that 1 in 4 companies will adopt AI-driven real-time security management solutions within the next 4 months, because of an 80% rise this year in AI-driven cyber crime.
Yep.
So it is a massive demand, but it's hard to position the commercial value of that on top of an already security-heavy managed service agreement. So it's an interesting space. We're dealing with that with the likes of RoboShadow, the integration with Jira. The RoboShadow has the automation features around one-click fix and removing vulnerabilities. We've paired that with a full native Microsoft stack, again via OpsGenie, that connects through to Jira. Jira's acquisition of OpsGenie is a magical solution to being able to manage an API-driven service management platform. So if our SOC analysts close a ticket in Defender, it will close in Jira, vice versa, all throughout our different tenants. So, and same with RoboShadow as well, same integration on that front. So everything that we do it's very important when you start to get into high volume security event management. It's very important to get all the efficiency. So to go back to your original question, the rise in the need for that, the lack of efficiencies until really saw and automated responses really takes off and is developed. Sentinel's very good at that. And the automated operational management that things like Jira and OpsGenie allow you to do, until that's perfected by a lot of companies, I think it's going to be a struggle even then to answer the demands on security and security management. With not so much economic certainty for some.
Thank you for the
sectors.
seamless integration into the RoboShadow piece for me as well, James. So my understanding is that your predominant offering is to keep to Cyber Essentials we have here in the UK, which wants 7+ CVSS scores kept on top of. The service that you mostly charge to your clients is to keep within that Cyber Essential framework. So how does RoboShadow and Sentinel and sort of Jira all sort of work together?
Yeah, great point. So the minimum that we manage to is what we call Ever Ready Cyber Essentials Plus. So at any point, Cyber Essentials audit and scans could be conducted, and we will always pass that capability. The slightly more, so RoboShadow is a massive part of that because it's a very easy vulnerability management solution that we can now the patching, and I know there's a lot of work being done against Qualys, which is a favorite for Cyber Essentials assessors, and we seem to now that just with RoboShadow. Defender itself manages the rest of it around identity, etc., and we've got our own capability to pull 365 security information through to suffice the Cyber Essentials assessment on that. So that's the base standard that we are managing to currently.
Good. Okay, thank you. And then in terms of the integration with RoboShadow, do you find yet that you're able to recharge the value onto clients yet? I think that's what we're starting to feel now, is that RoboShadow is being able to use as a differentiator to be able to make more money. Obviously, when the rise of cloud and we stopped selling servers and SANs and things like that, the margins just got smaller. Are you finding now you're being able to use it to just increase conversations and ultimately increase margin?
The main requirement there is it's what cyber security has a problem with, I think, in the industry of the consumer, is the visibility and understanding of what's actually going on. As a technologists, we see what occurs and we see how scary and close that is, and how that's only going to increase its veracity and its challenges to SMB, especially in SMB, because they're the new target of the of cybercrime, and they're probably a lot of them are woefully ill-equipped to deal with it. The hard part is investing in solutions where you see very little result from. Ultimately, you're paying people to stop you having a cyber breach, but you didn't have a cyber breach for the last 5 years anyway, so it's like an insurance premium. What RoboShadow especially, and we're starting to get a bit more data out of the Microsoft stack, allows us to show is exactly what is occurring across what hygiene standards need to be upheld and what that takes to do that, and also what and from Sentinel and from SIEM tools, we're seeing the events that are occurring that really need to be addressed, and how a well-managed environment that is utilizing RoboShadow has far fewer events because it has a better security hygiene posture in the first place. Less
gaps or things to fall through. So good. And I suppose the only other bit that I kind of wanted to share with people, what James was alluding to earlier. So I think the problem is that, and I think we're all waking up to this now, that AI does help the bad guys more than it does the good guys, in the sense of, whereas before exploitation was usually done by humans, there was a bit of automation. Now the AI can do the full exploit chain, and not only fire exploit at the known vulnerabilities, they can take the telemetry back and change their attack based on the telemetry that they get back. So this is, I think everyone's been scaring this cry of, oh, it's up and attacks are up, and people have been fear-mongering cybersecurity for quite some time. Now AI is here. I think we over fear-mongered previously, and I think we are actually, especially here in the UK, we've dealt with quite a lot of shopping chains that have been hit and stuff like that. So I think, as a talk I did at Sub UK the other week, you can't use security by obscurity anymore. And I think someone from the National Cybersecurity Centre, as you said, you can't fight AI with AI-enabled tech. You have to be doing that grassroots sort of hygiene elements as well. So, yeah. James, thank you. Anything else? And if anyone of our viewers wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Just connect with me on LinkedIn. It'd be perfect. Just message, email would be fine.
Fantastic. James, thank you ever so much for taking the time.